Okay, now we come to the last part of my conversation with Magita. Okay, I just want to ask a bit about the court system.
Okay.
During my time, of course, it was not so well organized. Uh, there were delays in a lot of cases, but now it's a lot better.
Yes.
I noticed it's a lot better. And but of course, now also there are a lot more cases.
Yeah.
I heard lawyers complain about the judiciary or the staff and the magistrate, the sessions court, and even the high court level, all kind of chock-a-block
Okay.
jam. Okay, is that your experience?
I feel that because of COVID, there has been a backlog of cases.
Because of COVID.
Because of COVID. So I think it was not so bad prior to 2020, but post-COVID you do see it. So I have cases where I have trial fixed in 2027. It's a bit ridiculous, but you can't blame the judges or the court system because it is what it is. There is a backlog of cases, and I actually do think that the courts are trying their best to move things fast. So I've had like high court judges who are willing to continue the proceedings right up to 1:30 in the afternoon, and have like half an hour break, and then they do ask us if we are okay with that. And then I also have judges who work past 5 o'clock. And I think I've also been speaking. So that is my personal experience. But I also have friends who have told me that there are judges who even, provided everyone is willing, to like move until like 6 something in the evening. So I think the courts are trying their best to work the system. But unfortunately, it is what it is. We did lose almost a year because of COVID.
Okay, so things are not as bad.
It's not as bad. At least they are trying to fix the problem.
Okay, now what about the clients? Do they share your view? Do they complain to you?
Oh, they complain. So they don't understand how things work. So they think that
The public's perception is different, I understand.
Okay, so I notice a difference between individual clients and corporate clients. So corporate clients understand the situation. So when we explain to them, there is a backlog of cases, it's because of COVID, they understand. But individual clients is a little bit harder to explain. But more often than not, maybe out of maybe 90% will be okay with it, they'll understand. And then you'll probably have the balance 10% who, still think it's unfair. Yeah, and anyway, if something is truly, truly important, we can always file an application, a notice of urgency to expedite the case if you have good grounds for it. So it's not to say that, if my trial is in 2027, there's nothing I can do about it. If it's truly urgent, I can put in an application to fast track that particular case. Yeah.
Some lawyers are saying that we should have more appeal court judges. That there's a jam up there in a higher level. Is that your experience?
No, I don't think so. So I don't do many appeal cases right now, but I used to work with Datuk Sri Gopal Sri Ram. So during my time with him, I don't think there was much of a backlog or there was a delay. Things did move quite fast. So I don't think
Maybe because it was Sri Ram.
I don't think so, because we're sitting there in the morning. Our case could be heard at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 12:30. So we have a lot of other cases being called, and they are not represented by Datuk Sri Gopal Sri Ram. So I don't think that's the case. But again, it was a few years ago. I don't think I'm in a position to comment about that now.
Okay. So, but this is some of the issues they told me.
But have they raised this to the relevant committees?
I think they have.
Okay.
Yeah, but as you know, appointment of extra judges is not within it's the government.
Yeah. So, but they do have committees where you liaise with the court staff, and there'll be like the court director and all, where these issues can be raised if it's an issue. So I'm not sure if these lawyers have actually raised their concerns to the committee. But like from my experience, there are instances where certain things happen in court where we're not too happy. Like example, not so much the judges, but the way the procedure is. And we have raised this to the relevant committee, example in the KL bar, and this issue was actually subsequently addressed. Yeah.
Are you active in the KL bar?
I'm not, but I do have friends who are active, so I know roughly what's going on, but I'm not active at all.
But do you know what they do? I mean, are you familiar with their work?
To the extent that they have all the committees which have all the separate, like you have a criminal law committee which addresses issues, yeah, they're quite active. At the very least for the KL bar, they are. I actually recently attended their AGM. Yeah. So, they put out all the things they have done, and throughout the year you could have actually seen all the activities they've held. And
so the KL bar is quite active.
The KL bar is quite active, yeah, they are.
Well, that's good.
And I'm very happy in the sense that, if you have any issues, you can always raise it with one of the representatives and they actually hear you. So that's really nice.
And who is the what are the issues when you attend the AGM? You know, what are the issues, the main issues that normally talk about nowadays?
Oh,
Is
well,
it the issues of the profession, or is it the issues outside the profession?
I think we spoke a lot about the funds paying for. It's usually about how funds are utilized, what are we doing with it. It's usually those kind of
You're talking
issues, what
about
we can
funds
do
paid
better.
Funds paid to the Bar Council or to the Bar Committee?
Both.
Both.
Yeah, so we talk about issues like that. It's usually with
So
very
what's the
general,
answers given?
very satisfactory answers.
Wow. At this rate, you'll be the chairman of the KL Bar soon.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, so the answers are satisfactory to you.
Well, to me, I think it's satisfactory. To some, it may not be,
But what is the feeling?
I think overall it's okay.
Overall,
yeah,
it's okay.
okay. Yeah,
Okay. And you have no problem with quorum?
I believe a few years ago there was a bit of an issue with quorum, but this year apparently it was good. We achieved quorum in an hour, I think. So not too bad. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. At least things are getting better.
Yeah. So you saw like a lot of like even senior lawyers coming out to cast their votes and all this year. So that was quite amazing to see everyone united.
The issue of some people talk about the Bar Council issues guidelines.
Okay.
So a lot of guidelines, in particular relating to how to manage clients because of AMLA rules, because of Bar Council rules and all that. And some lawyers tell me that sometimes it's very difficult for them to carry out this compliance work. It costs a lot of money.
Yes.
And some from the big firms will not complain because they have money.
Correct.
But the smaller firms, if you have to comply with all this compliance, it is very onerous to them. That's what they say. You know. Now, but that's the reason why I ask you, how much engagement does the Bar Council have on this sort of issues with smaller firms? Do they have like regular meetings with representative of the law firms, the medium-sized law firms?
To be very honest, I'm really not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Maybe not.
Okay, it's all right.
But I do think when it comes to like compliance issue and all, like Bank Negara's compliance issue and all, there are quite a number of guidelines which can help you through the entire thing. So not too bad in that sense. But in terms of whether Bar Council has regular meetings with small firms, I really don't know.
No, the guidelines are there, but to follow the guidelines, to comply
so far,
with it,
I've looked at
it is quite onerous. That's what they told me.
So far, I've looked at Bank Negara's guideline. Not too bad, and you can always call up Bank Negara for clarification.
You can call directly?
Yes, we can call.
Okay.
So it's not too bad in that sense.
So they will tell you?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
We can actually even email them and all.
So you don't have to go through the Bar Committee first?
No. I mean, I have personally called Bank Negara to clarify on certain issues.
Oh, so you have good contacts with Bank Negara?
Okay, no, I don't have good contacts.
Okay,
just a direct line.
Okay, not many people have good contacts.
No, it's just a direct line, that's all.
Okay. Now, the question that I also, this is what I heard, is that mergers, the firms are merging, like getting bigger. It makes sense for them to be bigger, to be larger.
Yeah.
Is that what you see happening, or is it just talk?
Well, are you talking about big firms?
No, I'm talking about smaller. The big firms are big firms. I'm talking about, is there a trend for smaller firms to get together and...
I think there is actually, and I think the main reason for that is probably resources. You know, you're trying to share your overhead, premises, share the staff, the support staff and all. So yes, there is you do see a trend. You also see a trend for small group law practice. You see that as well.
Yeah. Group law practice is just like what I'm saying.
Yes, you do see that. Yes, that's quite a number.
You operate separately, but you are part of a bigger...
Yes, it's all under...
working well? That's what I want to know.
Whether it's working well, I'm not too sure. Okay. I'm not part of one. I don't know.
You don't see your firm joining another group practice?
No, not anytime. I don't think my firm would be doing that. Okay. At least not anytime soon, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I am always wondering, I'm always curious what is the progress of this group practice.
Okay.
Because this group practice has been there for a while. Many years.
Yes.
Even when I was in practice. But I don't know what's the progress. Is it getting better? Is it useful? or what?
I think just like any businesses, there's always issues. When
Yeah.
there's a few people, a few heads, I think there'll always be issues. So I don't know how long or how sustainable group law practice is, but I know there are a lot of people who are doing it. And for the right reasons, you save a lot on resources.
Yeah. I mean, if you can share, why not?
Yes, exactly.
So
And I
long
think
as-
that's what's
so long as you
exactly-
don't share fees.
Yes. No, I don't think there's anything wrong sharing fees as well.
Oh,
If everyone has their own scope of work for a particular file, there's nothing wrong with it.
yeah.
It's just like a
In
solicitor and
theory,
counsel.
it doesn't, but in practice, someone will say, "Oh, I did more for this."
Yeah, so that's the part
Yeah.
where you have internal disputes. But if everyone's on the same page, there's a clear division of work, then I think it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, my last question is about arbitration. Do you do arbitration work?
Yes, when I was with Datuk Sri Gopal
Yeah,
Sriram. Yeah.
but is that because people tell me that sometimes it's better to go for arbitration than go to court.
Okay.
Court is too lambat lah, too expensive lah, too long, many rules lah. And therefore, arbitration is the way forward. But not everybody kind of buy into that. There's a buy. Some people are not sure whether our arbitrators are good enough, whether it's actually cheap, whether it is. So, what is the state of arbitration here?
Okay, so this is really my personal point of view.
Sure.
So I have noticed that almost every other contract which comes my way has an arbitration clause.
Yes.
It became a trend.
Yeah.
So I think that it came to a point where people were just putting in arbitration clause as an alternative dispute resolution with no real reason for it. Because arbitration is actually expensive.
Yes, that's right.
It's a lot more expensive than going to the local courts. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be looking at it's a very simple agreement. It could just be an agreement for tenancy.
Yeah.
Why are you going for arbitration for tenancy? So of course we didn't prepare the agreement, but it comes to us.
It comes to you.
Yeah, it comes to me, and I'm just like, why are we doing this? Why is it arbitration? So I will actually advise my clients, maybe we should just test the waters, file it in court, and see if they have any objection to it. Or sometimes I'll just reach out to the lawyer and say, hey, there's an arbitration clause, but can we just go to the local courts because it's expensive? And more often than not, people agree. So I think arbitration should be for something which requires the judges to be specialized in a certain area. Something like construction makes sense. Something which is very, if you think that, you need someone with that special expertise, then arbitration makes sense. But if you talk from a cost perspective, I don't agree. It's
Yeah,
expensive.
but okay, that is the thing. I want to ask you just to develop a bit further. Why is it expensive? It's because we have few arbitrators.
I don't think, okay.
No. If you have more and more arbitrators, I'm sure the fees will come down.
So there's actually a scale for fees.
Yeah, but you have to amend the scale, lah. Because I think you should encourage arbitration, don't you think so?
But why?
Because
what
if it's
basis?
cheaper and you can make it cheaper,
But you see,
it's less rules.
it can never be as cheap as going to the local courts. We don't have to pay anything except for filing fees, which is very minimum. We don't have to pay for the judges. So I think that is access to justice.
But you cannot, so my question to you is, can we not do arbitration cheaper for the people, for the public, to have easier access, just like they have in court, running parallel to the court system, We can do that.
I think there will be drawbacks to it because you have to understand, like, arbitrators are paid based on their scale. If they have a file, they have salary. They make a profit if they have a file. But judges, whether you have 5 files in a month or 100 files, you already have a
So
fixed
it's not
salary.
possible to have a reasonable fee scale for arbitration work.
I think it is reasonable, but it just depends on the context.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that the fees is unreasonable. I'm just saying that you still have to pay fees to the arbitrator, and that is cost.
You pay judge's salary.
Yeah, but
Allowance.
it's not coming out from a client's pocket.
Well,
And because we have to, it's access to justice is basically that. And I think the fees for arbitrators is perfectly fine. It's just that has to be decided is whether this particular dispute should go for arbitration or not. Is there a need for it?
is that a need?
Yeah, I think that's the most important.
Anyway, Magita, thank you for talking to me. It's been very good.
Thank you so much
I
for
learned
having
something. And I hope that if there are opportunities in the future, if there are some issues that you want to talk about, please, you're welcome.
Sure. Thank you
All
so
right?
much for having
Thank
me,
you.
Dato'.
Terima kasih.